We're starting a new series this week, and I'm excited about it. It's going to be take a bulk of our summer, and we're calling it Iron Sharpens Iron. After the verse in Proverbs chapter 27, verse 17, it says, "As iron sharpens iron, so a friend sharpens a friend." Then the servant took 10 of his master's camels and departed. Listen to what he says. For all his master's goods were in his hand, and he arose and went to Mesopotamia, the city of Nahor. I want us to learn a couple of lessons, both from the servant and then also from Rebekah, the wife, not to spoil it, but the wife that the servant finds. And the first thing that I see is that the servant was willing to obey. The journey from Hebron, where they were, to Haran, which was the area where this town was, is about 500 miles. It would have taken, on camels, which apparently they were, about a month's journey. It was no easy task, especially for whomever the oldest servant that Abraham had was. Probably not a young guy, but he did what he was called to do. Jesus said some stuff like this, didn't he? He said, if someone makes you go a mile, you ought to do what? Go 2. If someone asks for your coat, you ought to give them your cloak too. The whole term, go the extra mile, that's from Jesus. That's what, as followers of Jesus, we ought to do. But most of us will barely do the minimum, especially when it comes to somebody else, some stranger that we don't know. But as followers of Jesus, we ought to be like Rebekah. We ought to have a desire to serve. I will go. I'll do it. Not only did she have a servant's heart, but she had the faith to obey. One writer put it this way. She was asked to believe a man she had never met before. She was asked to go to a land from which she would never return. And she was asked to marry a man whom she had never seen. But think about what Christ calls sinners to. Because Christ calls us to believe a person in the Holy Spirit whom we've never met before. To go with him and allow him to lead and to guide our lives into a life that we don't know how it's going to always end. And to become a part of the church, the bride of Christ. That's what God is calling us to do. Listen, God doesn't save us so that we'll be safe. Now, our eternal destiny is secure, but the victory is being fought right now. And God is calling you to obey him. God looked at Rebekah and said, listen, I got a plan for you, but it involves this guy showing up, giving you a couple of bracelets, and you getting on a camel and traveling for a month. But you know what? She did. People, God used her in a mighty way. But it happened because she obeyed him.